Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dugout. We have seen so much action take place in the T20 World Cup. Australia got knocked out. The Super 8's picture is looking clearer and clearer, barring one team, and that could get very clear tomorrow once Pakistan and Namibia's match is done and dusted. We've got a lot to look forward to in terms of cricket still, because if you're an India fan, yes, officially you've still got one more game left. Your qualification may be sealed, but you've got that game against the Netherlands still to go. However, we're going to start off this edition of the Dugout, a very special Dugout at that, because we are being joined remotely by someone who's not Nikhil, somehow. Hi, Sid.
Hi guys, hi. It is indeed a very surreal feeling.
Yeah.
Not being Nikhil and joining
What's
remotely.
so surreal about joining on Zoom, Siddharth? Please tell us.
Well, firstly, I am in Noida. I am not anywhere else.
Ah.
And to join you guys live by Zoom.
Why could you not come down to the office in that case?
There are other reasons.
Achha.
Logistical reasons why I just can't come today. So, yeah, logistical reasons, folks.
Yeah, logistical reasons are also why we don't have Nikhil today.
Yeah.
He'll be back tomorrow though, so no need to worry about that. However, before we get into the nitty-gritties of what India may or may not have to do, I have to let you guys know we were in the midst of some very intense competition today in the India Today office itself. And when I say intense, listen, I'll just put it this way. This came closer to an actual boycott threat than what Pakistan did, because we were 2 minutes away from having a walkover featuring the Sports Today team.
Wonderful.
And if you think I'm kidding, this is a real thing, because Harshit was the member who was on time. A badminton tournament almost resulted in a walkover because one member decided to turn up late. So for all you guys who make late today jokes,
If I was to just be his advocate over here, just
it was on his week off.
one there.
One.
But I know it doesn't. It's just not a legitimate enough excuse. But he says that he misinterpreted the time. He misread the time to be 4:20 and not 4 p.m.
This is almost as bad as the whole 10 p.m., 10 a.m. debacle of Monday. But the less I speak about that, the better. Ha.
Indeed,
So yeah,
indeed.
there was a gap over there, but there were bigger gaps that were made on the badminton court.
Yeah, by the way, for all of you who are aware, the badminton tournament that we have takes place on an outdoor court, which is well and good, except that there was wind on offer.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
the amount of times I saw people go for smash shots and absolutely waft it, I can't tell you. And by the way, if you're wondering, we had a Sports Today team against what was basically a Sports Stuck team. So it was two sports teams making absolute fools of themselves out there, going for smash shots and either hitting it out or into the net. There were times where, I kid you not, I saw two guys looking and neither going for it. So Pakistan levels of comedy was taking place on the badminton court. There were jibes about selling jalmudi. It was bad, but either way, keeping all of that aside, thankfully for those of you who are regular Sports Today watchers, you'll be happy to know that the Sports Today team secured a comeback win, because you were 5-0 down. From 5-0 they won 12-10. So that is an accomplishment. I will take that. Good fight back, good clutch mentality, whatever you want to say. But man, oh man, it was some joy to watch. When's your next match, by the way?
The next match taking place tomorrow. It was supposed to happen, in fact, about half an hour, 40 minutes back, but then we got that update about Australia getting knocked out from the tournament.
Yeah.
So we had to request a change of schedule. The organizers of this particular event, I've seen, the organizers in general, you talk about cricket at the moment being played at the international level, or this little tournament of ours as well. I think the organizers are at times mindful and generous. So the organizers here as well have been generous, and they've decided to give us a slot tomorrow, because we had this breaking news update about Australia getting knocked out of the tournament. So that match will now take place tomorrow. It's the quarters that we managed to get into on the back of just one win. Let's
Not
see
bad.
if we can make it two and progress into the tournament. There were very good teams out there, but just to let our family members know, because they know so much about our personal and professional lives. as Shane said, this was really a comeback win of sorts, but it had little to do with skill and more to do with the wind, because it really just was about on which side of the net you were on. We were 5-0 down in the match.
Switch sides.
We switch sides. We take 6 points on the trot with 6-5 ahead. Then we're again about 9-5, 9-6 or 9-7 down, and then we're game 8 down. So much so that we really had to pull things back from game 8, game 9 down as well. We ended up getting into deuce. The opponents that we were faced with were extremely elated for the very fact that they pushed us right to the brink. And as one of the opponents said, I'm going to be quoting him, he says that इन लोगों का तो मैंने गला सुखा दिया था. So yeah, all of that. Shane was there on the sidelines of the court. So was Pawan, who's rolling the show right now. These guys had a good time. It was good fun though. Good that we got this exercise going, and let's see tomorrow now what is it that happens. But coming back to cricket, enough of what's been happening in the India Today media plex, but over now to the actual cricket field, where a lot really has happened over the couple of last hours. Actually, not a lot has happened because we didn't see any action take place.
Yeah, the first match took place fully.
Yeah.
But the second one, not so much. And whilst you and I were spending a good 20 odd minutes waxing lyrical, Siddharth, let's bring you in here. Australia getting knocked out of a T20 World Cup in the group stages for the first time since 2009. What exactly does this tell you about where they are right now?
And before you answer that, Siddharth, I also want to tell everyone joining us right now that Siddharth perhaps was so upset with that result that he decided to snooze for a good couple of hours after that. Not couple of hours, it's not been that much time, but yeah, you get my point. He decided to doze off after that. So please tell us about your disappointment. I'm only guessing that's what you're experiencing right now, because what else? Explain you're sleeping after such a big headline that's come out of the T20 World Cup.
Is it really a big headline, Harshit? I want you guys to understand that. See, Shane, did you have Australia in your semi-final lineup?
Semi-final, no, but I had them reaching the Super 8s.
I had them in my top 4, Siddharth.
So that is why I did not have them in either the Super 8 or in the semi-final lineup for 3 simple reasons. One, their list of injuries was so long. With Hazelwood gone, most of your potency is gone in the bowling lineup. Second, all the batters ever since the Pakistan series have lost form in one go. Okay? Didn't help by the fact that Mitch Marsh got ruled out for 2 games. And in one of the games where you needed his application, he just could not get going. I mean, in the Zimbabwe game, for example. Tactically also, you lost it. How can you explain a 107 for 2 situation in Palakele against Sri Lanka and you end up with a score of about 180? You lost 6-7 wickets for only 70 runs with more than half of the overs remaining in Palakele. Bowlers not in form, batters not in form, execution and tactic wise, you were all over the place because common sense would have dictated you batted second in Colombo against Zimbabwe. But no. So everything that could go wrong for Australia had to happen, and that is why I didn't put them either in the semi-final race, or I was saying that okay, maybe they might just qualify barely from the Super 8 situation. So I'm not surprised that they're out because form went, injuries just went, but yeah, it's a wake-up call, as Shane said. First time since 2009 that they're not even made it to the next round. I think it happened even in 2022, where at home they lost 1 game, and that was just enough for them to get knocked out. Just 1 game. On net run rate, they just couldn't make it to the knockout stage.
Yes. But then you had a much bigger group also.
Yes. Not helped also by the fact that there were several washouts. Australia, England got washed out. Australia, Ireland got washed out as well. So, it was a fitting end for Australia to end their campaign. And anyways, was it good news for India? I don't think so. Because India would have anyway run roughshod over this Australian lineup. Yes, I know we have been scarred by ICC events where we have been at the receiving end of Australia's brilliance, but not this Australian team. So that is why it makes India's path even more easier now, because when you look at it now, X2, which was supposed to be Australia, is now being replaced by Zimbabwe. So India, Zimbabwe, South Africa, West Indies. That is your group. And only one more team is left because today New Zealand sealed their spot in the Super 8 stage. Pakistan most likely will do it tomorrow. Unless, I mean, there is one more viral meme going around that Trump is once again mediating between India and
Yeah,
Pakistan.
because
India
USA are
are
second at the
USA
moment.
second, Pakistan third.
Yeah.
But that could change. I don't see Namibia doing it because even a washout means that Pakistan go through. That's how it is. Or wait, do they go through?
Uh,
Do they go?
Yes. They've won 2 games.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So they'll get
they
5 points.
yeah,
They'll be through with a washout.
yeah, they won that.
So
Super
simple answer,
normal
guys.
match, yeah.
Australia, I didn't place them as one of the favorites, and everything combined knocked them out. So great day. At least one of the big guns has gotten knocked out from the tournament.
I don't know though. From yes, you really have to be not an Indian to not like this result per se, or the fact that a team like Australia is out of the competition. But if you ask me, I'm a big fan of these huge upsets of big teams getting out so early in the tournament. We're only on day 10 of this tournament. There's a good couple of weeks to go even now. And if a team like, in fact, more than that, and a team like Australia out so early in the tournament, see, you're here for competition. And would it have felt the same if you hadn't beaten them in Mohali over all those years back to progress to the final of the World Cup? Would it have felt the same if you had reached the D.Y. Patil Stadium without beating Australia in the semi-final of last year's Women's World Cup? Would it have been the same if you'd beaten, let's say, a Zimbabwe with that kind of knock you saw from Rohit Sharma in the Caribbean and then gone on to win the World Cup? It wouldn't have felt the same. These moments, these victories, these finals, these laurels, these trophies, they felt well earned, well deserved, because you beat teams like Australia, who won the World Cup multiple times over, who are a team to watch out when it comes to the knockouts, who are a different beast altogether when it comes to a knockout game, but then they're out of the competition. From just the fact that there is a quality team out that doesn't always operate on form, but operates so much on reputation and plays so much into the minds of the oppositions as well. For a team like Australia to be out, from the competition value point of view, I feel a bit sad that Australia are out so early in the competition.
No, I do agree with that point. I mean, look, let's be fair. From a competition point of view, and I dare say even a global viewership point of view, not having an Australia is definitely unfortunate. But I do also think that they have been one of those teams who've never quite been top dogs when it comes to T20 cricket. As I said, it took them years to win their first international, the T20 World Cup. Because again, if you go back 2007 onwards, you had teams like West Indies win it twice, Sri Lanka won it once, England won it twice before Australia won. Oh, no, they didn't win it twice. They won it once.
Pakistan made a very bright start to the T20 World Cups. Yeah.
So that's the thing. They are one of those teams who, like, their dominance thereabouts has been there in tests and ODIs for sure. They've always been one of the top teams. T20 is not so much, and deprived of a couple of legendary players, there was always a chance that they would look ordinary, and that's exactly what has happened with them. But I do agree. I do think, see, if you remember, if you go back to 2024 as well, Australia weren't looking that great even then, but it felt special to beat them the way we did to then make it to the semis.
Of course, because you had Virat and Rohit and all these guys taking on Stark, smacking him all around the park. 24 odd runs to have been scored in 1 over of Stark, if I remember that right. Again, this is the kind of stuff you want to see. This is elite competition at the highest level of the sport. But if you're going to be having a Xavier Bartlett, Cooper Connolly, Glenn Maxwell, Cam Green, and all these guys, form the bowling attack, it's not the same. It's just not the same.
That's the thing.
And that's why I think the results haven't been the same for them either. At least you saw a much more competitive side 2 years back. This time, though, extremely underwhelming. And it's just a reminder for all of us that the fast-paced nature of T20 cricket, if you really don't have the right resources, then it is teams like, on a good day perhaps, an Afghanistan that will go forward as we saw in the 2024 edition, or a Zimbabwe, a good couple of matches, good couple of 20 minutes in 2 games is all that you need to progress, and that's the difference ultimately. See, this Australian side with this with the players there, perhaps if they were up against Zimbabwe in an ODI game, maybe would have prevailed, maybe would have just done enough to have pipped them, but just the nature of the competition and the nature of this format is such, 3 hours, 3.5 hours is all it takes. You have a winner towards the end. You really don't get the time to put the pieces together. Once you're in disarray, the match slipped away even before you get to know. Would you agree with that, Siddharth?
Absolutely. I mean, look at it. Australia managed to win the 2021 T20 World Cup because they were on the right side of the coin tosses in most of them. It was a win toss chase kind of a T20 World Cup it was. 2022 at home, they were undone by one bad loss against New Zealand and they never recovered from that. 24, scratchy, but the win against them in St. Lucia felt special because it was the first time you're playing them in an ICC event ever since November 19, 2023. Okay. Prior to that, in 16, it needed brilliance that they had to be undone by. For example, Virat Kohli in Mohali. So that's why it took something. 14, this squad kind of gave me 14 vibes because they were therein and thereabout, but then they were not going to make that much of an impact. Your best Australian teams were 2021, 2007, 2010 when you look at it when they reached the final for the first time, and 2012. Very unlucky to have been undone by the conditions in 2012 in Sri Lanka. So yes, as you also said, Harshit, a Cooper Connolly, a Xavier Bartlett, a Maxwell, a Zampa. Zampa is a match winner, but then he's also looked off color, coming back from that groin injury that he had against Pakistan. Imagine, I mean, I could have understood if they had a winning run prior to the T20 World Cup. Let's go back to the India series. In that India series, you remember the stat. India and Australia have won most of the consecutive series that has been. Australia had not lost. They had won about 7-8 consecutive series prior to the India series. What happened? They lost 2-1. Ashes preparation and all that jazz, they went into that. But then when they decided that, okay, we would send a rather weakened team to the Pakistan series, it spoke of two things. One, either they were complacent, which is very un-Australian-like, or second, they completely misjudged the way how they would prepare for the T20 World Cup. Because injuries aside, they had no plan B. The pure fact of the matter is that Australia, because of the list of injuries that they had, David also, remember, was coming back after a lengthy break. So he also looked rusty. Maxwell, again, hit and miss. He needs only that one big knock to ensure that, okay, he's therein and thereabouts. With a mercurial bunch like this, how would they go on to the knockouts where they would be brutally exposed? So it all collapsed in a heap for Australia, and that is why it was a befitting lesson that will serve them good in 2028, because remember, in 2028 they are co-hosting with New Zealand, so that gives them a chance to once again rewrite their T20 template. But as of now, from 24 till now 2026, this 2-year cycle has seen some highs, but has seen plenty of lows for Australian cricket, and this might awaken them.
I don't know whether it'll awaken them or not, because again, I sometimes look at the talent pool and I always have that question. But I mean, coming back to what we wanted to talk about, the main topic of the day, our main mudda, as it were.
X2 now is
X2
Zimbabwe.
is Zimbabwe.
But
India already X1, but still have one game left against the Netherlands. So the question is, okay, what now? What do you see the team doing? Are they going to go into experimentation mode and giving all their players a chance, the bench players who haven't yet got game time? Is this the kind of match you can soft launch back a Washington Sundar? He had fitness issues, joined the squad very late. Are you going to make those changes? Are you going to stick with your same 11? Because even if you lose, you are most likely getting the top spot anyway, because your net run rate is very good. And even that loss, considering the strength, I would say would be very far-fetched.
You playing this one in Ahmedabad? Where are you?
Yeah, I think it's Ahmedabad.
So that
Yes.
Ahmedabad, is it? Yeah.
Your last league game is in Ahmedabad. Your first Super 6 game is Super 8 game is in Ahmedabad, followed by the second in Chennai, the last one in Kolkata.
So the Indian team stays in Ahmedabad till Sunday.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So let's talk. What is it, as Shane said? Let's talk about what is it that this Indian team looks forward to doing in these two matches. In particular, let's talk about the one that will serve as preparation for the match on Sunday. You don't get a big turnaround. Thursday you play, then you play a match on Sunday, and it's going to mean a lot, that Sunday game against South Africa. Before that, if I'm looking at the pitch, if I'm looking at the 11 that you played in Colombo, there is one thing that I'm definitely looking at, and that is, even though I would have liked Kuldeep Yadav to have gotten some sort of confidence, he didn't look very confident. We know that in the field as well, he didn't have particularly a good time. So I would have liked it if Kuldeep Yadav got that confidence booster in the form of another match. But now that you will be looking at this particular match with an eye on the match on Sunday against South Africa, you're looking definitely at the reintroduction of Arshdeep. With Arshdeep, remember, he's also got that tough job to do, as is the case, let's say, with the Siraj at times in Test cricket, where you know, he's in and out of the side, doesn't always get to bowl in tandem, or isn't always the spearhead of the bowling attack. With Arshdeep, it's much the same, because he plays a few matches, then that rhythm breaks, because you're going in with the Hardik Pandya, you change your composition, and now again back to square one. Given that you're looking at a flat track in Ahmedabad, where we've seen runs be scored previously in the tournament as well, there is Arshdeep Singh I definitely see coming back, in Kuldeep, who knows, may just have played the only game that he'll play in this tournament.
Unless the team decide to rest certain players and they decide to give Varun a rest, saying, listen, you played well, you're the first choice right now, Kuldeep, you play this game. Because I was just looking at the squad, and the only player who's yet to play a game is Washington Sundar. Siraj would have been one of the others, but Siraj played the first game.
Do we have the clearance for Sundar now? I saw him practice in Delhi. I think he's good to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be good to go. Anyway,
There's been no official communication.
there's been no official communication, and considering the short travel, normally we'd be looking forward to a press conference today, but then that hasn't happened.
Yeah, but I remember he was bowling perfectly
came for the press
fine here in Delhi. So I'm guessing that clearance is there. It's just that, Siddharth, did we officially get that notification from the BCCI? No, right?
No, I mean, see, Sitanshu Kotak came for the press conference, and it'll be interesting to see what he has to say as far as any changes are concerned. But two sides, I think I can advocate both the sides when we say, do you want to make changes? Yes, you can. Because see, a tournament will begin now. For India, the tournament will begin afresh from 22nd. The league stages are now done. So it makes sense. You've had the queue. You want certain individuals to step up and say, okay, you get a chance in the Netherlands game. Because remember, you're going to play it on the flattest wicket of them all.
Yeah.
Chennai and Ahmedabad have been your flattest wickets in this particular edition of the T20 World Cup. So when we saw it in Delhi, Harshit, when we are building up to the Namibia game, Sundar was bowling well and batting. He had long sessions there. So unless Suryakumar Yadav says it in the press conference that maybe we might see some kind of things as to whether Washington Sundar should be included. It'll be very interesting to hear what Sitanshu Kotak has said. So it's an optional practice. Remember, today was an optional practice session for the Indian team. Not all of them are going to come and practice. So you can make changes. Maybe get in someone
What
else.
are you doing, Siddharth? If you're the one calling the shots, are you looking at changes?
Apart from the one change that you mentioned, Harshit, where Arshdeep comes in and unfortunately Kuldeep has to sit out because you're not playing three spinners in India, I would say play the same side. Because you're in the middle, you're now reaching the business end of the tournament now, okay? It's a last league game, but don't take any game lightly. Who knows, one loss, God forbid, one loss can result in a loss of momentum. Anyways, you still don't get eliminated because this format of the Super 8 is such. Even if you have one loss, it doesn't matter. You need to finish in the top two. But play with the same template. Nothing beats like having a winning momentum on the trot. You face India, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and West Indies. So why don't you just ensure you maintain your playing level? Because look at it. There are issues still in the Indian batting lineup. Abhishek has not yet gotten off the mark in the T20 World Cup. Remember, he's only had 5 balls. He's gotten out for 2 ducks. So he needs to use this game as a huge springboard for form. You've seen Ishan Kishan, he's in great form, but you're not dropping him because you need that stability. I mean, what can be the thing? Ishan rested, Sanju back in.
No, so
Do you want?
that's it sounds foolhardy. It just
Exactly.
sounds foolhardy, yeah.
Tilak is anyway coming back from an injury, so he's had a rest. And he's also looked scratchy, remember. Tilak has played the anchor role pretty well.
Uh,
But do you need to change Tilak Verma? No. Sky obviously is the captain. Unless there is a fitness concern, you all would know that Shivam Dube kind of pulled up on his hamstring in the Pakistan game.
yeah.
Now, if the BCCI and the Indian team management don't want to risk Shivam Dube because he didn't bowl, but then he moved around well in the field, maybe you might want to replace a Shivam Dube. Maybe get in a Washington Sundaran. Perhaps. Perhaps. So I would say if you don't want to risk a Dube, that is the one change you want to make. Apart from that, you have a Aksar, play him. He was one of the key guys in the game against Pakistan.
Yeah.
Then you play Bumrah, you play Arshdeep. I think these are the only things that is remaining at this point in time when you have to look at the Indian cricket team as far as changes are concerned. Concern over Dube's fitness, if they want to rest Dube, that's the one change.
You mentioned Ishan's name as well, Siddharth, at the top, and there's a question that we're running on our screen as well. Let's try and answer that one. Is there a feeling that we have, in very short time, we've ended up becoming over reliant on Ishan Kishan? Is that the feeling at the moment?
I mean, okay, before Siddharth chimes in, I'll chime in here. I do think that's happened to an extent, but that's also because Abhishek is yet to get off the mark. So, actually, your template, the way it is very dependent on openers giving you quick fire starts. But you've not had that in the first two matches because, yes, you had Ishan doing well for you, but Abhishek didn't play one match, and the one match he played prior to Pakistan got out for a golden duck. So, you have seen that happen. That doesn't worry me though, because I'm pretty sure that the day an Abhishek comes back to form and the day you start playing in conditions that are more suited to your style of play, the form issues will disappear.
Yeah.
So, whilst it's true, I don't think it's a worry for me. I don't think it's a worry.
Yeah, I also sort of resonate the same sentiment as Shane does. I echo that sentiment for the simple reason, again, you've seen with Abhishek, while you may not be getting the desired returns at the moment, but he's seen a bit of a patch earlier on as well, like that, where he'll get you those middling 20s and 30s, but he'll get them in quick time. So for the moment, I'm going to be fine with that as well. I know it's not been an ideal start, but let's be realistic about India and where we see this tournament going. You're only done with 1/3 of the tournament as far as India are concerned. You played 3 matches. You're looking at possibly 9. You're looking at
4
9
in the
in
group.
totality. 4.
Yeah, 4 in the group, 3 in the
6.
Super 8, semi and final. So that's 9.
9, yeah. So you're looking about 9 matches. India are only done with 1/3. And yeah, there is a fair few, and that's going to be the business end of the tournament as well. What I will be interested to see is how Abhishek performs in the business end, because that is something he needs to tick mark for now as a promising Indian player. The only big occasion we've seen him be a part of was the Asia Cup final, and we know he underwhelmed. So I'm not too worried with the fact that there is a bit of a slip that he is undergoing at the moment. But we've seen that the man possesses a lot of quality. I don't necessarily agree with what's being said about him across the border. It's immaterial right now, but the word slogger was being used to define him. I look at Abhishek more as somebody who's got a method to the maverick approach that he has. This has nothing to do with him being a slogger or whether he's coming into the line of the ball or not. I think there is definitely a method to the way that he approaches his game, and we've seen that for a year and a half now. You don't just score 1200 runs like that slogging the ball. You don't just score 88 odd sixes. You've been the highest 6 hitter. You've been the highest run scorer since the end of the T20 World Cup 2024, and there has to be, and there is, in fact, there are plenty of pieces that have been done, videos that have been done on how he really goes about his game. He knows where the fielders are. At times, yes, he's been outfoxed. There have been teams that have devised plans that have very beautifully devised plans against him. But let's be honest, he is the highest run scorer for a reason across the world since the last year and a half.
I mean, it's rather harsh, right? 1,300 runs and 88 sixes ever since 2024. Yet he's gotten words like slogger. Yet he's like always have to be questioned because he didn't do well in one final of the Asia Cup. This is now potentially the second time he make it to the big leagues of the major T20 competition. I mean, it is harsh. That is the scalding level of focus, the level of criticism that you'll have to encounter because of the benchmarks that you've set, which is so high. Okay. But we don't have to be worried about Abhishek Sharma and we don't have to be worried about most of the. Yes, our batting has not yet reached the top gear that we had in the bilateral series. Bilateral series, you're all making 210, 220, 230, 240, 270 for fun. But the pitches were different. You are potentially playing on the flattest wicket of them all in Ahmedabad. That's one. Okay. If in case it's an India-Pakistan semi-final, if it happens, you will be playing in Colombo again. Okay. So, how on earth are you looking at this current situation? Why you should be worried about Abhishek Sharma when all he needs to do, supposing if he even fails in 3-4 games, but then what if he chips in the semi-final and the final? My job is done, right? My job is done. We have to look at the nature of pitches here, okay?
Yeah.
The one match where it was flat in Delhi, he couldn't play because of a stomach bug that he had.
Yeah.
Mumbai was a tough wicket. RPS was a tough wicket. Although Pakistan in their self-delusion will say, oh, it got only better. Then your batters were so bad. That is the other thing. So, if he gets a chance on a flat wicket like Ahmedabad, then I think all the Abhishek critics might be shut down. All of them. I don't think we need to be worried about. Imagine. Don't look at what if, oh, Abhishek fails, what happens? What if Abhishek and Ishan both combine? Then it's fireworks galore, my friend. It is like the Rinku Singh argument. I find that very hollow.
Exactly.
Because if Rinku Singh doesn't do well with the bat, I'm keeping him in the field, boss. He's a gun fielder. He's saving 20 runs. And for the position where he's batting, number 5 or number 6 or number 7, which is a floating at this point in time, I'm not getting a 60, 70, 80 on a consistent basis from Rinku Singh. I know that.
If you're getting a 50, 60, 70 from a Rinku Singh, given where he bats, that means your top order hasn't worked on the day.
It's been miserable.
That's the only day. As I think was the case in one of the T20 as where he got a 50.
Yeah, it was against New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah. In one, I think it was the second T20.
Yeah, Raipur. Yeah.
Raipur it was, where he got that 50. But also went about his business very well. People tend to forget with Rinku Singh. That match is an example of how he knows to switch gears.
Correct.
People think that he's only got the 6th gear. I say that he's got multiple gears because while there was another batter on the opposite end, I think it was Surya at that time, who was going better than he was when he had come into the middle. But there was a time in that innings of Rinku Singh where he was going run a ball. He was 10 on 10, 10 of 10 or 12 of 10, something like that. And then he accelerated to give India that push and get to his half century as well.
I don't understand where this understanding of Rinku as purely a finisher comes from. Because again, I know we are a nation that obsesses over numbers. Rinku Singh in red ball, domestic red ball and list A cricket, first class cricket is averaging well over 40. You cannot be a player averaging over 40 in tests or not tests, in technically first class and list A cricket and beg pardon.
And be looked at only as a
you're not a finisher, boss.
Finisher.
You're not a finisher. He's a finisher because he's got that ability to switch gears and be able to play clutch innings like that. But he's not purely a finisher. I've watched him bat for years at Kolkata. He used to be a 4-5 kind of batter. He just got pigeonholed into that role because there was actually no one who could do it as well as he. And he could pull off rescue acts. Again, one game that people tend to forget, 2022 Lucknow Super Giants.
Yeah.
That game which was decided by Evan Lewis's one-handed catch. But Rinku played an absolute rebuild innings there. He had to wait, he had to bat deep, he had to actually take his time and then he accelerated much later. That's when you saw that, okay, this guy's got the ability to play the situation, not just play this thing. And it's the same with an Abhishek. People keep talking about Mohammad Amir was saying he's a slugger. I'm sorry, have you watched the man play? He forces bowlers to change this thing by changing his side where he's standing. He'll shuffle around in the wicket. He'll look to make them change the angle so that he can make them change something at the last minute, then get them to do what he wants to do. That's not a slugger. That's someone who's a smart cricketer. He's also a timing player as much as he is a power player, which makes him that much easier to watch on the eye. I don't believe this thing that he's a slogger, and I think any criticism of him is very unwarranted. Very, very unwarranted. The only player who I would want to see in the team, because again, as I said, I think it's important you give your squad players some game time to ensure that they can stay ready. I want to see a Washington. So if you have to make too many changes or not too many changes, as Siddharth was suggesting, the one change I'd be okay making is bringing in Washington, either in place of Akshar or in place of a Dubey.
Dubey. I think Dubey then has got to be the person. Maybe you could at resting or just do some sort of workload management, purely because we saw him pull up a bit and he didn't bowl. So clearly he was feeling something on his hammy.
Yeah.
I think he pulled up his hammy while that run out mix up had happened with Rinku Singh. So that is just the other thought that maybe perhaps I had in mind as well, though I forgot to mention it earlier on. And that's a forced change that I'm looking at. It's not something I would have tactically done.
Yeah.
It is just a forced change, as I would want definitely for Shivam Dubey to be there as you get into the business end of the tournament. Besides that, a quick word I wanted to get from you guys on Tilak Verma as well. We saw him play 2 matches before he made that return in the USA game, and those 2 matches, one I remember was incidentally against the USA,
warm-up.
which was a warm-up game, and then you saw him play in the South Africa match on the 4th of February, which again was a warm-up match. He got runs at that time. There was a 50 as well, if I remember.
The 50 was against USA.
And then he got a 40 odd as well. So he was looking good in those 2 matches, but hasn't quite been able to replicate, and was again not able to get off the blocks in the manner that you expected him to after having gotten an eye in. He played about 20 odd deliveries, perhaps more as well. 25 or 27, whatever that he finished with ultimately. Just when he was looking to take the attack, ends up giving away his wicket as well. But any sort of fears with his return to high level cricket?
No. I'll go in before
Guys.
Siddharth. Siddharth, I'll just go in before you do.
Yeah, because we've gotten Sitanshu Kotak's quotes, okay,
Oh.
that has come in the press
Okay.
conference, okay.
You have something for us?
I have.
Go ahead.
I don't think, that's the first major thing is, I don't think there will be any experiments. We don't think of it as a game that's not important. So I think if you have to believe in Sitanshu Kotak's thing, I think the one change for the conditions that is there, that might be the only change we are looking at. And he also, yeah. Then all 4 who aren't playing are keen to play. Siraj played the first match. Important thing is all 15 understand that we are trying to put the best 11 on the park. So I think if you look at the mood of the Indian cricket team, I think there isn't going to be any kind of experimentation as per se. Like, will they treat this as a game or as a warm-up game? No. I think they're continuing with the flow, and that is the way we are looking at. And he doesn't have any kind of trouble with Tilak Verma. Because there's a question asked, Tilak weakness was a spin. No. That's how the team management wants him to play. It's the plan that is there. Anchor role at this point.
And I think, see, Siddharth, you also have to remember that this anchor role that is being bestowed upon him for now is as much down to the circumstances as anything else. Against USA, you had an early collapse. Against Namibia also, you saw a few wickets fall. And against Pakistan, we saw how tough it was to score in the middle overs. That it wasn't just Tilak, but even Sky, the captain, willfully took on an anchor role, knowing that that was the need of the hour, and the best time to accelerate would be later on once you see that potential of the death overs coming. So I don't worry about Tilak. I have full faith in Tilak being able to shift gears when necessary. However, you need to have the right circumstances for that. And those circumstances haven't quite arisen yet. For that to happen, you'll need to be playing in the kind of conditions which we've been playing in bilaterals. So slightly flatter wickets, Indian conditions. I do think you'll see it come back there. I'm not really worried about Tilak, and I don't understand where this thing comes that Tilak is a anchor type batter. He's playing the role right now because as a team player, that's what them will do when the situation so demands it. Otherwise, I don't think it's something that is going to be part of his natural game.
I do agree. You know, if people are getting worried, or just to answer the question that I had raised, if people are thinking about Tilak Verma's form or have any sort of doubts because of just a runner ball score that he got a couple of nights back against Pakistan, you must remember that was exactly the need of the hour. Anyone else, you look at Pakistan players, all 10 of them, they were they showed you exactly what one did not have to do in the middle. Of course, the temptation was that you look at those big scores of 200, 220, and then Tilak Verma, if that was on his mind, would have done exactly what Pakistan batters had done, which is give away his wicket
Exactly.
when the ball was sticking a bit. The need of the hour, and that's exactly what the plan, I think, was. Yes, it is to his credit that he's got those multiple gears, while the overall ethos of the team is to go gung-ho. Tilak Verma does realize the fact that he has the ability to be able to shift gears. He can be a bit of a consolidation act. He can be a finishing act as well, as we saw in the Asia Cup final. So good that you have the presence of somebody like him in the middle, because just the basis the situation, you know what Tilak Verma has to do, and on that day, both what he and Surya Kumar Yadav did was the absolute right thing to do, and was not attritional cricket. It was smart cricket.
Exactly.
You did not want, you wanted there to be that foundation so that the likes of a Dubey and a Rinku, who ultimately did exactly what they were supposed to do, you don't have to leave out too many deliveries for them. The idea was to put that foundation for them to come and explode in the last couple of overs, and I think the plan was followed to the T that day. So Tilak Verma, even though he may have looked at somebody who batted slow, but I won't say he was slow, he was smart that day.
Absolutely. I don't think you should be questioning his this thing. I know a lot of people did it even during the Asia Cup. But remember the kind of conditions you had on offer in the Asia Cup.
Sluggish.
Again, they were sluggish. Again, they demanded application over slam bang cricket.
Yeah.
I think you may see that change a bit now that you'll be playing most of your games in India. I do think you may see that change. But actually, if you think about it, even in India, you haven't been seeing extremely high scoring games. You've been seeing it be in the 170s, 180s more often than not. So I do think that in those sort of circumstances and that sort of conditions, the approach should be to play smart in the middle overs rather than look to be attacking all the time and just simply throw your wicket away. Anyhow, should we go to what it is that the family members have to say, and we can
By all
give
means,
Siddharth
by all means.
his leave?
By all means. Maybe in fact Siddharth can take his leave at the moment, even if he likes. We can take the questions. Or Siddharth, do you want to share a few more moments with the family members?
No, I think I can take your leave, guys, if you allow me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Go right ahead.
I know it's time for your evening snack now.
No, got to take my kid out.
Oh, lovely.
That's it.
Please.
Yeah.
Enjoy that,
Enjoy.
and we will take the comments from the family members. So you've got,
You guys.
see
Cheers,
ya.
Siddharth. Thank you.
You've got Raj Sharma who says, Australia, are they finished? They are the next West Indies. Woo, they don't have any good players coming out of the domestic or under 19. It's sad, but that's the truth. I'm not sure I fundamentally disagree with this. I do think there's a talent pool there. I do think, however, that the current Australian dispensation, the team management, whether that be the chief selectors, the head coach, and those responsible for shaping the squad, are a little too obsessed with giving long ropes. They're the anti-India at one point, if I may. Whereas India do give long ropes. I think with Australia, you've seen a lot of players get insanely long ropes and never actually develop into consistent players. See Maxwell, Glenn. So I do think they need to look a little more at the domestic system that's there, because they do have good players. It's just a matter of giving them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Then you've got Chirag Patel. He's saying that, guys, for Australia's next World Cup in 2027, their batting will struggle because Smith, Stoinis, Maxwell retired. Definitely their batting will struggle. I mean, yeah, in ODIs, I don't see, they'll need a bit of an overhaul for sure.
Yeah.
But the one good thing is they'll have a good bowling lineup. Smith, remember, is already retired from ODIs. They will need some batting though to shine, because again, even a Warner is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. They will need a little bit more in the batting side of things. Scroll down. You've got Dhanush saying March celebrating the 2023 World Cup has given Oz men and women hell. I've seen this meme a lot on social media. Not sure that has much to do with it, but it's become a common joke.
Yeah.
Rest of the comments? Okay.
Plenty of them. We'll take them all. Don't worry.
Let's see.
Let's start with GGK. I think GTK and Ashish are just having a chat.
So we'll start with Bijoy. He says that India's batting is not peaked yet because some batters like Abhishek, Tilak, Hardik, Rinku have not batted up to their potential. I do agree that you've seen a few underwhelming performances, but I don't doubt them coming good eventually for one second.
Yeah.
Also,
Nationally, these wickets, let's be honest, these wickets have not been what we've been used to seeing. And that's definitely played a role in those less than 220, 200 scores. In fact, if you ask me, I think the average at the moment would look like something in the 160 to 180 range. You've only had a handful of matches cross the 200 mark.
Exactly. I like what Nashley says, especially now in the context of what we heard from Sitanshu Kotak. He says, does anyone else think the Indian team is forcing Tilak to play anchor, which makes his game look a bit different? I mean, you've literally heard Sitanshu Kotak basically admit that they're telling him to anchor. So, very interesting.
I think it's very condition specific.
Yeah. Because if you have the right conditions, if you've got a flat track, they will tell every batter, listen, go out there and go gung ho.
Exactly.
Simple as.
Exactly. And which is something you'll see tomorrow, I guess.
I think so, because Ahmedabad, under lights.
Featherbed.
Under lights. Ashish Dhar says, I potentially see an India-Sri Lanka final. Woof!
Oh,
If
that'll
that
make
happens,
that'll
be
make
for
for some final.
Although
In
Sri
that
Lanka,
case, where's the final happening?
India only.
Ahmedabad.
Yeah, the only way it changes is Pakistan.
Pakistan.
And I don't see Pakistan making it.
No, because it's been why I brought that up is because it's been the season of throwing tantrums. It's been the season of creating problems.
Yeah.
This will leave the ICC in absolute disarray, though. But Ahmedabad it's going to be.
I like what Saurav Kumar says. He's saying problem with Australia, England and Pakistan is all the same. There are too many namesake all-rounders who can neither bat nor bowl under pressure. Under pressure part is key. The under pressure part is key.
And it again takes me to the one name that we all sort of not give enough credit for, too at times. Hardik Pandya. Just how good is he?
And an Akshar who can hold it together both sides.
So that you ask him to pick the new ball these days.
Let's see. You've got Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan saying India till the semis plays 7 matches, of which 5 are minnows. India versus South Africa might be played twice at the same venue. Abhishek will be key on a flat track like Ahmedabad. India has to win the World Cup now. No excuses. Very interesting. Let's see. Anshu Mishra says, Oz deserved this, although I thought they lost in Super 8 or they lose in the Super 8 or semi-final. But this is pro-level humiliation, selecting underperforming injury-prone players like Green, Stoinis, David. Now take the harsh call.
Are they taking a harsh call on Green?
Green
doubt.
maybe not. Stoinis maybe. David also, see, you have to understand that he's taken a dip in form at the worst time.
Yeah.
Because prior to this, in the last 1 year, he was in very, very good form.
Yeah, you saw that in the IPL as well. Okay, should we add a bit of football tadka to this conversation as well?
Absolutely.
As Siddharth so often tempts us to add that.
And he successfully tempted me.
Yeah.
He goes, guys, do you really see Pep catching Arsenal yet again? I mean, I cannot see these deluded people comparing Saka to Salah or Odegaard to De Bruyne. Work to do, Shannon first, Siddharth. I couldn't agree with you more.
First, you guys are taking them on or what?
No, he's a Barca fan, so it doesn't matter.
I know, why did
first.
you mention the
Yeah,
first?
actually, I think there's a match that day. But recently Chelsea Arsenal has not been a good match for Chelsea fans. It's become very this thing. For me, the match to watch out for, I think, is on 18th. Because that's when, I don't know when it is, but when Arsenal travel to the Etihad.
Yeah, it is. I think it's in May though.
April, if memory serves me right.
It's in April, is it?
Yeah, I think so. But that's the key match because right now it's 4 points.
Yeah. I was just looking at the run-in as well. It's Arsenal do look like they have the kind of run-in at the moment that they can pile on all the points as well.
True.
Going into that game at the Etihad, which many people are under the assumption that it's a City win, but you never
know. You can't take it for granted.
You just never take that for granted, and that's the mistake people are making at the moment.
Yeah.
Do I see them catching up? Well, this is
the most flawed City side I've seen in a while. It's really the most flawed City side I've seen in a while. But
you've seen better City sides for sure. You've seen a City side that was so good and end up winning the title without Erling Haaland as well. Those are the kind of high standards that the City team has. And now they've got an out-and-out striker. They've got a backup striker. They made these signings in the January transfer window as well. Semenyo's made a good start. Oh, it'll be too hard for Arsenal fans, I know, but
if I swear to God, I will contemplate.
They might just edge this one. It's going to make
I
for a
do
lot
think
of noise pollution. It's going to make my ears going to bleed. I know, but
I thought 2019-20 when Liverpool won it was
Oh.
bad. No, this is going to be generationally bad if it happens.
because this is when we you and I, we were same generation. We've seen Arsenal fans gloat for having won just one title.
Yeah.
One title.
Gold Cup.
Yeah,
Gold Cup. Oh.
and that's been on for more than 20 years now. One title and I think we're in
If
for
this
some-
happens,
in
oh
for a
my
hard
god,
time for
2 months,
two more decades.
2 months of listening to them compare, as he says, no, Odegaard to De Bruyne and
I
Saka
know.
to.
Then I know the conversation will then switch to Declan Rice being the next best thing after sliced bread, because Arsenal fans and many would then say that a Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, a Roy Keane,
City,
a
please,
Ryan
please.
Giggs, a
Pep,
Kevin De
Pep,
Bruyne.
I beg. Please, Pep. Please.
Will be put way above these guys.
Please, Pep, I beg of you, Idolo, please. Please, I beg of you, spare us from this. I already get irritated every time Arsenal fans call Declan Rice a free kick specialist. Reece James scored 4 free kicks last year.
Yeah.
4 direct free kicks. We don't hype him up as much as they do him for scoring 2. Real Madrid, I tell you. Anyway, we'll take your leave on that note,
Yeah.
because it's been a nice long show. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did actually bringing the show to you. But for now, we'll take your leave. Please don't forget, as always, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell, follow us across socials too. Harshit, take her away.
On that note, it's good night, Nandri, Shubh Ratri, Shabbak Khair, eat your vegetables and don't trouble your mother. From the 3 of us, 2 that you see on camera, the one who's rolling the show and has a big smile on his face, also is very eager to leave the studio because he's already done that once, by the way.
Yeah.
But eager to do it all the more now. So, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Watch some of the other videos that are already up on Sports Today.
Bye bye.